Do we do that? I've never.
The look on your face, because it just said we're recording. It's not asking you to say you have permission or anything like that on your
Okay.
screen.
So are
Now,
we live or
we're live now.
like with on YouTube?
No, we're live taping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not on YouTube live.
Oh,
I didn't know. If you want to do next time, you want to do live, I got no problem with live.
oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll do that next time. But listen, you guys, I'm here with Jen Bushman,
Hi, everyone.
and she was on, lo and behold, Next Level Soul.
Yeah.
What a cool, because I was like, wow, that, how great is that? And she hasn't watched it yet because she doesn't want to watch it. But as soon as I hang up here, I'm going to watch it.
Oh, thanks, Linda. Yeah,
And you talked about soul contracts.
yeah, we talked about all kinds of things like, how my gifts when I became aware of them and seeing Sasquatch and when I was 4 and things that I could do when I was a child with gifts and soul contracts, why we're here, star seed stuff. It was this conversation that just kept going. But yeah, I haven't watched it. You know how you don't want to listen to your own voice when
Oh,
you
me, yeah, it's hard. I don't watch my other shows. But
yeah.
sometimes when I do, I bust up laughing because I am crazy.
You are fun. Yes.
Thank you. But so you tell me about seeing Sasquatch, whatever his name is.
Oh, Sasquatch?
Yeah, give me the story.
I was 4, Linda. So I grew up in Washington State. I grew up on Fox Island and I was 4 and it was my first backpacking trip with my parents and we went with like another family, family friends. And it was the Lake Ozette Trail. It's on the coast of Washington out on the ocean side and so it was just like a 1 mile hike out to the beach, and we were going to spend the night. And it was getting us kids, like used to camping and backpacking and all that. So we were going along, and I was in front of the group, and I saw these monkeys up in the trees. And I was
There's
like,
monkeys in Washington?
oh, but to me, I was 4. So I said, you never told me there were monkeys in the trees. You never told me there were monkeys up here to my dad. And he said, there's no monkeys, Jen. And I was like, but I kept pointing, like, you don't see that, you don't see that. And no, he didn't. So it was 8 of us, right? It was the 4 of us Gilmores and then the 4 my friends, the family friends. And Mr. Russell knew because he kept looking at me like, what are you doing? So we just kept going, and my dad was getting irritated and kind of swatting me like, stop that. So then I got, you know, um, just busy with my socks because they kept falling down. So the group was ahead. You know how when you're 4 and you don't like your socks down around your
I know that. I know that feeling. Very uncomfortable. That happens with my JC Penney double wides. They keep falling down.
yeah. So I was in the back of the group and I looked up and there was the mother with the 2, they were twins, the Sasquatch twins. They were
They were
2,
little babies or
they were little like my age, I was about 4, they were my size. And I thought they were monkeys because, I'm 4, I don't realize what I'm seeing. The mom was different in color. She was like a lighter blondish color, her
how'd you
hair,
know it was female?
because of her breasts. She looked
Okay.
like my mom, So I knew it was her mom, their mom. And she told me to catch up. Like I wanted to play with the small Sasquatch because they were like kids. And I was excited. I was like, these are friendly kids. I just wanted to play. And she told me telepathically to catch up with my family. So I
She
ran.
talked to you telepathically?
Yes. Yes.
But
And
she was kind, right? You didn't feel any viciousness.
no, I felt incredible love. And I felt, especially the kids, like they were just all excited, like we're going to play, you know. But she was serious and kind of stern, like a mother, you know, like a parent to,
Did your parents even notice you weren't behind them?
no, you know, I was, I, I had those kind of parents, you know, they
Yeah.
were just kind of like, oh, that's Jen.
Oh, you
So
should have kept up with us. Yeah.
yeah, we have to get there. So
Isn't that amazing? What
yeah,
an experience. So
yeah.
it stuck with you all these years. You never had another experience, right?
Oh no, I've had more experiences.
What?
Well, I was a Boy Scout leader for, you know, my son's troop. So 10-year-olds and the Webelos group. So you have them from 10 to 12. And I was into it. You know, I love the outdoors and hiking and archery. That was my favorite. Leather, leather making. Let's go make a wallet, right?
Cool.
And so, but when we would camp, I get here, I'll show you my rocks. Do you want to see what
Yeah.
I would get these gifts. You know, I got like braided bark
Yeah.
and but I would get these stones left on my pillow or outside my tent. And they would be stones that would not be you would not find them like at that elevation or in that place, but these were they're just
Those are the ones that were on your bed?
yeah, that would be left or my car when I would because I would always go hiking on Sundays and I would feel the vibration in the ground behind me because they apparate, Linda. They're the 25th dimension. So they apparate. They come and go. That's why we don't see them. They're very elusive, but they protect us. They
Isn't
protect
that
each
amazing?
and our
So they left stones, but you never got to see them.
Not no, not ever since when I saw the kids. But the
Okay.
thing is I had a reading with Gail Fowler, the urban shaman. She's going to be on my channel next Thursday. She's so cool. She does Sasquatch readings. And she told me because when Sam was born, my son,
Yeah.
it was one of those it was a labor that went on for days. Like nobody would know what happened during that.
Right.
But she told me exactly what happened with Samuel because those twins were with me.
Oh my God.
So they're my guides. And
Isn't that amazing?
Rosie is their mom and she's my healing guide. So when I do a medical intuitive readings, she comes in and when I do the healings, she comes in and helps.
Well, what is it with, there's a lot of shows that I've seen that were pretty significant about Sasquatch, unless I've got the wrong name,
No,
Bigfoot,
Bigfoot.
because there's a smell, a terrible smell.
Yeah,
What's that about?
that's to repel you because you're getting close to their family. They usually live in caves. So there is a cave structure around, but you're close. Or they're all somewhere doing something, hunting, gathering, whatever, and they're repelling you.
Oh, ooh, that is cool.
Isn't that beautiful? It's
But
almost
they pick up huge boulders and throw them and stuff, but I've never heard of them killing anyone.
no, no. There are, you know, just like with humans, we've kind of got assholes, right?
Well, especially male. It sounds like the female was cool.
Yeah, very cool. But they're not an angry species. They are here to protect us, very spiritual. They know our thoughts, they know our consciousness. Um, Very healing. They monitor us, you know. You've heard of like the Galactic Council or the Federation of Light, white light. It's the same thing. They're monitoring us on the earth and how we are affecting.
So they're terrestrials, they're extraterrestrials. Because
Yeah.
I've heard about like people seeing ships and then next thing you know, there's
Yeah. They come and go. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
And that's how they collect their bodies, Linda. That's why you don't hear, everybody's always wanting to get evidence. They want a
You
body.
don't see a dead one anywhere or anything like that.
No, because they come and collect them.
Really?
Yes. Pretty
Oh,
cool.
has anybody actually killed one? Or do you know?
Yes, there have been. And usually when you see a Sasquatch, it's usually like a teenager. They aren't really skilled yet at apparating, at disappearing, uh, slipping in between dimensions. That's what they're doing. So, you'll see them. It'll be like, oops, or you'll see half of one, or you'll see
Yeah.
a leg. That happens. Yeah.
So you fell in love with them after you had that experience.
Yes. Yes. So, it's I didn't know what I was seeing until later, right? I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
understand that. And yeah, it wasn't until much later in my 20s that it was like, oh, it clicked. And then much later, as I've, progressed in life, that I've developed more of a deeper relationship. And then in my 50s, when everything just kind of came together for me and started to do readings, and um, uh, it changed. And then using Rosie, understanding Rosie's presence in my life as a
Yeah.
guide to help heal. So,
I've talked to a terrestrial psychically,
yes.
extraterrestrial, but he wasn't a Sasquatch looking thing. He was more like your typical ET kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the messages were just beautiful,
Yeah.
and that's, I didn't even want to, as you know the story, I didn't want to do YouTube at all.
Right.
But the man that talks to me in my ear said, "You're going to do a YouTube show." I'm like, "What? I don't want to get up and brush my hair." He said, "You'll help calm them down."
Yes, you will.
Oh, geez. All right. So I just sat in front of the camera on my computer. I had no clue what I was doing. It was starting to build pretty fast. I just started saying, I told them, okay, you tell me what to say. And
Right.
then my son one day said, "Mom, you can monetize your YouTube." I said, "What? Really? I might make a couple of ducats out of this."
Uh-huh.
So I started doing that, but boy, I've had the best time. And the people are magnificent, just magnificent. What a, we may think we're alone in this world. Well, we're not, we're never alone. We're all a piece of the omnipresent,
Right.
but the groups, even the readers and stuff, it's just so amazing
Yeah.
meeting all these people.
Isn't it awesome? It's like
Yeah.
my
But
favorite.
I've never heard of someone having a Sasquatch as a overseer, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
That's fascinating.
the whole family, the twins and mom. It's pretty.
Did you ever see Dad?
No. Uh-uh.
Do they cling? Are they together as a family unit or no?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. They live as families. They're like people. They're a people. They're a race, but they know your thoughts, your feelings, your consciousness. That's why they know you when you are in the woods or getting close. They know where your heart is. If you're gonna, if you want to shoot them, or are you asking permission to be in their space? And if you do that, if you guys go into the woods and, before you step in, just say, "I'm here. I respect you. I'm asking for your love and your guidance. And I really appreciate you in your space." And they'll respond to it. And you
Right.
will get, like I've got a whole bowl of, gifts here. They will they will respond in kind. It will take a while to develop a relationship. It's kind of like they know your level of belief, you know, your level of trust. And it's very much tied into spirit, right?
Right.
How much do you really trust spirit? That it's a direct
That
correlation.
trusting in the omnipresent. Because let me tell you, those ETs are real.
Yeah.
I started practicing that Dr. Stephen Greer. I couldn't speak the language he speaks when he calls in for the what does he call it? 5 CE5.
Okay.
So when I had a group in Sedona, I said, well, let me try, but I can't speak that language he's speaking. So I'll just call out, ask him to come. And then I told everybody, start shooting your camera, your iPhone. And we caught all kinds of terrestrials. It was fascinating. And we did it again. We even went with Kim and Debbie and Kevin. We
Okay.
went up in the hills. It was freezing cold, but we called out and you could see a bright light coming up from where we were. There was no lights out there.
Wow.
It was amazing. They make them, but see, I really got to ground myself because they are so powerful,
Yes.
and they can really take over if you need them to, but they have always kept me calm.
Yeah.
They've always told me, that the thing we got to keep telling people is to get out of your own way and quit looking too far in the future or the past. Stand in the presence, and in that vibrational energy of being conscious, everything else follows.
Right.
So it's amazing.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
So this too shall pass with the whole Trump thing, by the way.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not seeing when he's found guilty, I'm not seeing everybody pitching a fit, rallying, and there may be some here or there, probably in Louisiana and Alabama. But I've just seen that this is the beginning. He's already kind of going downhill, and this is really going to start the downhill track. And like somebody I was talking to said, our most important thing is not to wish him ill.
No. Goodness, no.
Because that puts us in a vibrational state of resistance. If you keep wishing someone to be hurt, it'll hurt you.
Yes, ma'am. Very good. Yep. And you're good at that. You're good at teaching that, Linda. You've been teaching that for, I don't know, 3 years that I've known of you, It's very,
Yeah, well, when we were also angry at him and we were all talking smack and I was right in the middle of it. And one day the guy just said to me, knock it off. And I said, what you talking?
yeah.
He said,
What you saying?
quit focusing and being negative on him because it does you no good. It puts you in a state of resistance. The more you do that, the more anguish and you create more chaos. Right. And I thought about it and I thought, they're right. So I told everybody on my show, listen, the guides came and they told me to tell you guys, we got to knock it off and we've got to wish him, we don't have to wish him. We just put the white light around him. Right. And I got hate letters after that.
Oh, I know.
How could you? He has been nothing but how could you? But forgiveness and moving forward is what it's all about. This is why this dimensional thing that's taking place, and I can feel it. How about you?
Oh my goodness, yes. Yes.
This is happening.
It's awesome, man.
This is happening. I can feel it.
Yeah.
And everybody is tired. And that's part of it. When you're so exhausted, you can hardly stand it.
Right. No, it feels good. Feels like there's distance from it. Don't you think, Linda?
Yeah.
Like it's just like concentric rings now. And I don't see the world popping off here, or at least the United States at Civil War and people have been talking. And I don't see that.
I've never seen, my guides would tell me. They did tell me about Ukraine. Remember that day I went in the backyard with the camera and I said, oh my God, Russia's going to hit Ukraine, you guys. And I was so upset because I could see the children dying. But the guides always said to me, in the end, it's the beginning of the end for Putin.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Very good.
So, you teach classes?
Yes, ma'am.
What type again?
Well, soul contracts. So I'm totally.
Oh, that's interesting.
Contracts. So I have a beginning class on June 5th. And then that's just like a one and done. And it's to see if you want to do the series, because then I teach the series, which is over 10 weeks and it's 10 sessions, but alternating weeks. And it's meditations, it's understanding soul contracts. And folks, pick a contract and we work through it. And so the classes are I'm channeling to the group and reading the energy and seeing images of what it is that
Well, I'm
they
gonna have to sign up June 5th. I'll have to look at my calendar. So how do you know if you have a contract with somebody?
Well, it's not with someone, Linda. I know people think that this type of work is the soul contract that you have with spirit. That's
Oh,
really what our
that's
soul
even better.
contracts are. Yeah, because that's the whole point of why we are here. Why
Yeah,
we are here in the third dimension is we experience emotion. And when it's looking at relationships that we have as frequency, it leaves an imprint on our soul. So contracts are to teach us about the relationship that we have with ourselves, but ultimately, what is the relationship that we have with spirit?
yeah, yeah.
And why you are here. What is your purpose? What is it that you're doing or meant to do? It can be really clarifying because it helps you to just level up, helps you to move on. This work really helped me. I was a very depressed person. I had a difficult time as a kid with my folks and struggled in relationships. Never really knew who I was, kind of did what I thought I should do
You were a
so that
people
everybody would
pleaser.
love me. Oh my God. Yeah. And an empath, right? I mean, just, helping and but losing myself. So then I got into it and then about 5 years ago, I got into it even more with a particular work. And so now
Did someone
I,
like open your mind to this? When did you learn of this?
well, my guides did. I've always seen my guides. So I had a near death experience when I was 19, and that's how I met Pink. Pink Carmengia is my guide, and he's over there. I met Courtney when I was 22, and she's my ET guide.
Does she look
So
like an ET?
She does now. When I met her, Linda, I met her in person when I was 22. Yeah, I worked with her for about 9 months, and then she went home. And I was coming back to Bellingham. That's up in the Canadian border because I lived in Washington. And I knew that, see, I was moving to Hawaii and she was going home, is what she told me. So I assumed, well, she's going home, like to where she's grew up or where she's like originally from or something. And when I was saying goodbye to my family down south and I was coming home that night, and there's this place in the mountains before you get into Bellingham, you kind of go up over the mountain and down. And so I had my Volvo, I had a sunroof, and I was coming up and I'm singing, it's U2. I was always listening to U2. And I looked up through the sunroof and oh my God, it was like an upside down aircraft carrier. And it was a huge, huge ship. And I pulled over and got out and it raised up, and then I saw it collect like 5 tic tacs, and you've seen those tic
I've
tacs,
seen that. Yeah.
and just whoop 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 whoop, whoop. And then it kind of like just for paused, and then Linda, I had missing time, and it was like,
Oh, you went with them for a minute, you think?
oh yeah, I know I did because it was days. I still don't remember. I am still like, oof, because the whole town saw it. Linda, everybody was talking about it in Bellingham. They were talking about seeing this craft and little crafts and like collected the little craft. And yeah, everybody in the grocery store, and I waited tables. I was going to college and waited tables, and everybody was talking about it who was coming in to eat. And then it was just like gone. It was like the whole town was wiped. And they will do that. They'll brain wipe you so you don't remember, so you won't be talking about it.
Right,
And
right.
it's still very fuzzy. And I've
That eat, eat
gone back and I've like looked for articles and looked to see if it would be in the Bellingham Herald.
nothing.
No, nothing.
That ET that talks to me, I don't know what his name is. See,
Yeah,
when I see my guides, they don't come through as a physical form, they come through as a light form.
beautiful.
Like in Cocoon, that movie Cocoon.
Oh yeah,
That's what they look
awesome.
like. I see nothing but light.
Yeah, because
But
now,
and I
oh,
can't see other people's people will say, who's my guides on?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know why I don't have permission. But anyway, but that ET, what gave me comfort is he said that they were there to help us. That
Mhm.
really helped me.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
said, we're here to make sure you don't destroy the earth. Because
Yeah.
destroying the earth will hurt them too.
Right. Well, it changes the molecular configuration of the universe. It
Yeah.
changes frequency. Our thoughts, our emotions, everything is frequency. And it shifts the collective consciousness of the universe.
Yes.
We're all intertwined. So when I see Courtney now, because she comes to me, she still has the same eyes. Because Linda, when I saw her in person, she had the most ginormous blue eyes I've ever seen, like big as plates. I mean, they were just, and I would look at her and it was mesmerizing. And she told me when we were finishing up, our sessions, she told me that if I ever needed her, to think of her and see her eyes and ask my question, and she would come. And I was like, wow. And then she told me who she was. But anyway, so when I see her now, it's her same big blue eyes. And she looks like Casper, the friendly ghost.
Isn't that amazing?
Little
Yeah.
puppy. Yeah. And when I see Pink, Pink is still in his grunge shirt because I was 19 and I was really into the grunge scene. My brother's a drummer, and so your guides show up in a way that is relevant, so relevant to you, right? So I still see him in his grunge shirt over his kind of.
Well, let me tell you something. I just got this today. Whoever sent this, thank you very much. But here's my ET guy. That's what he looks like.
I remember when you had him. Didn't
The
you
big
have him
tall
like?
one.
Didn't he break or something or
I
something?
I put him back out in the garage, but everybody was busting out because I said all he wants for me to do is cook for him. And I got pillows with his picture on it. I got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's if I get me a terrestrial with his looks, I'll be happy.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah.
Mhm. Notice how he's wearing the kilt too.
Come visit anytime.
I told my family I need Scottish bagpipers when I die, and I'll be blowing up from the grave.
I love it.
So, God, you got so many facets. What other classes do you teach?
Oh, dimensions. I teach classes on the dimensions and meditation, um, spirit guides,
So you're
crystals,
helping a lot of people.
crystals. Remember,
Yeah, I'm
Linda?
not really a crystal person. I don't
I
understand it
know, but
very
I'm
well.
gonna send you some, and I'll send you some sheets, to
Yeah.
give you some cheat sheets.
Well, Carol at Angel Heart, she knew everything there was to know about crystals, and people would come to me and say, "What do I use?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Right.
But I
Yeah.
guess there's something to them.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So, what dimension are we in now? Third?
We're in the third dimension here on Earth. And this is what I've learned. When we cross over, we go to the fifth dimension.
Okay.
And because it's like we're a hologram of who we are in the third. So our soul is big. It's in many dimensions at one time, Linda. Because when we're born, we plop out of the light. It's kind of like bloop, it's like the big
Yeah.
sun or a ball source, God, right? And we plop out. We join our soul family like a circle of souls. And then we go off and we do our work in the different dimensions. When we hit 15, we reunite and become a collective consciousness and ascend to the sun. So that's why when we incarnate with our soul family, we will incarnate into lifetimes with some of those souls of that consciousness. But that's why when you have a past life regression and you may regress back to Marilyn Monroe, but it may be also that somebody else is regressing back to Marilyn Monroe, but they're part of your soul family. That's how it is that we are tied and we are connected interdimensionally. It's because we have that tie. Just
Right.
like you, I remember you talking about Jimi Hendrix, and you said you could tap into Jimi Hendrix now, but you also knew that Jimi Hendrix was a boy who was incarnated now. That's how that works. Jimi
Yeah.
Hendrix will
He had
always,
already taken another body. Yeah.
yeah, but he will always have his body, his emotions, his experience. What we know as Jimmy will always be there. It's like a hologram of who he was, but it's not all of his soul, right? Because his soul, part of,
Yes. Yes.
see how that works? So, yeah, I teach classes on the dimensions, um, spirit guides, meditation, crystals. Love crystals.
What do crystals do for you?
Oh my God. Well, I heal with them. Because I
You
can
get
feel,
protection too?
yes. So like I do crystal readings for people and like I feel your energy. And like cause see, I know what crystals I want to send you that will best support you right
Mhm.
now. And so, to heal your body, to manifest, to support you emotionally, spiritually, because stone is frequency, it holds frequency, but it's a
Yeah.
stable structure, so that's why you want to clear them, you want to charge them, you want to refresh them so that they'll do their job. But yes,
Interesting.
my body zingles. Like when I zoom in on someone and I'm reading them, and it's just like, whoo, I get these tingles all over where I see what it is that would best support them.
Well,
Kind of weird.
it's starting to get at that Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, yeah.
They're starting to get some pieces of substance. It's pretty interesting.
Well,
What
it's
is that? Do you know what that is?
an airport. There's how we have a landing tower? They've
Yeah.
got like a landing dome under there.
I'll be
He
doggone.
built it. So
You
it's,
can see them going in and out of the ground.
yeah, hello, because they operate, they can change their structure. They're so
Yeah.
much higher in dimensional understanding that they can do that. That's why they zoom into the water. You can watch them. But they're digging up stuff, Linda, because it's an airport. There's a big old, it's like time is bent there.
Yeah.
It looks like this right over the ranch. It's like this. And so it's like, Susan Lynn would always say, it's like going through the ballroom. You're in housewares at IKEA and then bam, you're into the ballroom. You go through that side door, right? So
Right.
time is bent there.
But
But
they're not trying to
definitely,
hurt them or anything. They're not doing anything.
no,
But what
because
is the military always in the mix of this?
they know. They know. Yeah. I mean, is it Stephen Greer?
Greer.
He knows, I mean, there's a whole world that's like a parallel universe with our government and what we know,
Oh,
right?
but listen, there's
They
more.
know.
They were always around, but you can see them more and more and more.
Well, we're gonna have full contact by 2027. I see. That's what I get from
Okay.
my guide.
Like what? Like on camera, here we are, or
Yeah, and it'll be an introduction and an understanding. I mean, it's slowly starting to happen now, where it's just kind of easing in. to our consciousness, to our
Well, you
physical.
couldn't do it with some people now because they'd get their guns out and be foolish, you know.
I know. I know. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
shame.
It is. But
I
yeah,
mean, you know, they might be able to filter. They might be able to keep the ones who don't need to know from hearing them and just talk to the ones who needs to hear them.
exactly. It's like, how was it that I was able to see the Sasquatch monkeys, the Sasquatch kids, and my dad wasn't, but Mr. Russell knew.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I had a friend that he studies UFOs, and he was talking about Chernobyl when that happened.
Yes.
There's actually a picture in the newspaper, but I think they took it off. That while this leak was happening, a huge spaceship came down over Tower 2
Yeah.
and took away most of the radiation. And they said if that spaceship hadn't done that, it would have been worse than it was.
Exactly. Yeah. See, they're here to protect us. They won't interfere with us and our will, like karma.
They can't.
They
That's the one thing
can't.
you can't control will.
But when we are about ready to really change the universe. So when I say the molecular configuration, because when you're messing with the atom and splitting it, that's not a natural thing. The sun
Okay.
does that. But we don't want to create that because it will change the universe. So then they will come. And
Yeah.
that's why, remember, in the 50s and when missile silos were all over like the mid United States and there was UFOs, they were everywhere.
Oh, they were watching it like flies, or you know what?
And they were dismantling, turning stuff off, just don't do that.
Oh, I love those stories. There's so
Yeah.
many stories about these the military's talking more now, but
Yeah.
they were saying they were in the ground under hundreds of pounds of concrete, and somehow or the other, this ship shut it all down.
Right.
And like seven missiles. And they
Yeah.
said each one has its own link. So how do you do it at once?
Right. Yeah.
And then it turned it back on.
Isn't that great? I love it.
And I also heard a story. Tell me if you think this is true. I can't remember where I heard it. Maybe it was Unsolved Mysteries or something. But in Vietnam, during the Vietnam War, the guys on the ground were shooting at UFOs. And the UFOs took whatever they were shooting them with and turned it back on them.
Oh.
And then somebody got shot, some boat got hit. And when they looked for the missile that hit them from a starship, it just shot because they were trying to shoot, and the thing shot a missile and it blew up something. And then they did an investigation. The missile was from one of their. It took the missile from one of their ships and just turned around and shot them.
They shot it right back at them.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that kind of thing does happen. Yeah.
Right. Are there bad entities on the other side? UFO? Are there bad ones?
No. See,
Okay.
no. People talk about that like ooga booga booga. I mean, how do you feel about that? What do you think about
I don't know, because there's
like
so
the
many people that
devil
said
and
they were taken
demons
up there and they were prodded and it was terrible, they say.
Okay, so there is that. And the way that I've been explained
Okay.
is that it's a dimensional thing, that here we have emotion, we experience pain, and physically we feel pain. If people would announce, and if you do it once in your lifetime, that I am a citizen of the universe, then it's acknowledged like, oh, like, okay, kind of like you're naming it, you're claiming it, and you won't be hurt if you are taken. Because I've been taken, I've had things done, and I know others, but um, you can change that. You
Okay.
understand?
So I have friends there's two different people. One is a UFO that did the thing that actually said that they had implants, baby implants or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do they do that over there?
Yes.
Mix the breeds
Yes.
like scientists?
Yes, I mean, that's how we were seated here on Earth. We didn't,
I thought perhaps we didn't come from Adam and Eve, that we came from.
yeah, and single cell organisms to fish to monkeys. It didn't go like that. That's why, at Skinwalker, it's an airport. I mean, it's a wormhole, it's the ballrooms it's the IKEA ballroom, right? That uh they take animals there, they mutilate them, but they're testing them. They're seeing how, as humans, how we have changed. And so folks and beings are manufactured like in a lab,
Wow.
and we are seated in other places. Once that life can sustain, once that particular star system or planet can sustain life, then we were brought there. So
Right.
it's kind of like you're made to fit the environment which you're going to be placed in. They're always watching us, because haven't you noticed how our consciousness changes? Our kids,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like my kids are so different from how I was, and I'm so different from my parents. Like how we think, what we
How we're
hold dear,
growing.
how we value, our consciousness rises.
Yeah.
So that's all part of it. That's the
But we are
huge.
changing right now. I'm telling you, we're going into a little bit of a better time, but watch out, Mother Earth, because she don't mess. We're getting ready for some significant events,
Yes. Yeah.
but just stay positive, and they can't interfere because we have free will, but they will interfere if we try to do any bombing or anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think Putin knows it's ridiculous for him to even think about hitting that thing because they'll stop him. He won't be able to bomb a nuclear bomb. They just won't allow it. So,
Yeah. Do you see that happening?
not now.
Good.
I'm wondering, I never could see it. And I'm now, as I get more information from the ETs, I just think they won't allow it.
No, they won't. But there has been a little bit of hitting of the plants, the nuclear power plants
Oh, yeah.
in that.
I
But
don't see
it's not
Armageddon.
on the
And just like I
scale.
told you that in what was the name of that plant? That spaceship came and took a bunch of the radiation away.
Yeah. Pretty
So
cool.
we shall see, my friend.
Yes. Yes.
Well, it was wonderful talking to you.
Oh, it's so cool talking to you, Linda.
Jen, you have a lot to offer.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to sign up for your June 5th as soon as I get off of here. I'm very excited. And I got to meet someone that was on Next Level Soul.
Yeah.
I love his show too. I love those NDEs.
Oh my gosh, I love Alex Ferrari. What a beautiful soul.
Yeah, he and very grounded.
Very grounded, very cool. Knows what he wants to do. He's had an interesting life, which is pretty neat. You know,
Did he write a
you
book
have.
about it?
No, I don't believe so. I don't
Okay.
know. Maybe he's in the process, but yeah. How's your book? Your book's good. I
My
read your
book's
book.
going
I like
good,
your
girl.
book.
I don't advertise it. I don't,
Oh,
people are writing me, you need to do that. And I don't need to do nothing. I wrote the book. The guys told me to write the book, and that's what I did.
yeah.
Just like this YouTube. I did the YouTube. The guys told me to do it, and that's what I did. I don't have to advertise it.
Yeah.
It either works or it doesn't work.
Very good.
But it's still selling, girlfriend. So, I'm thrilled with that. That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
But anybody that needs the message will hear it via the book.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, baby doll.
All right.
Well, you're my last, and I really had a good time with you.
Yeah, it was so great.
You got me really interested now.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you. And be sure, if you need me to do anything for you, let me know.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, you guys. Thanks
Right.
for coming.
Bye.